Hi guys, this is the ASMR Nerd, and it's that time of the week again where we continue our soft-spoken reading of Martin the Warrior. So let's just jump right in. Chapter 5. Barkjon ordered a wall guard to be posted night and day against the return of Tromanclog. He harbored no doubts at all that the pirate would be back, doubly bent on revenge and conquest. Extra guards were put to watch the slaves when they were quarrying stone, fishing, or tending crops to feed the horde. Fildo's father, Barkjon, had wheedled himself onto kitchen duty. He kept his old eyes and ears open, gathering all the information he could. In the slave compound at night, he discussed it with others. Since Martin's open defiance of Barkjon and Fildo's rock throwing, a new mood was beginning to make itself felt amongst the captives. Keela, Barkjon, and a hedgehog named Hilgors were a little bolder than the rest. They soon became the ringleaders of a rebellious little group that met each night around the compound fire. Barkjon was a squirrel with a wise old head, and every beast listened when he talked. "We must do all we can to help Fildo and Martin escape, and the other little mouse, Brome. If they can make it to freedom, I know that they will do all in their power to defeat Barkjon and free us all. Fildo and Martin are the only ones ever to defy the tyrant. I am certain that if they were on the outside, they would not leave us here to rot in captivity." There were murmurs of agreement from the creatures that crowded round to listen at the meeting. A mouse called Purslane, who sat with her husband and babe, called out, "Tell us what to do, Barkjon. We're with you." Get them extra rations to keep up their strength," Keela answered for the old squirrel. "Shellfish or shrimp if you're out with a fishing party, crops or fruit if you're working the fields. They need to be fit if they're to escape." A female otter named Tulgru spoke up. "Oh, what if you work in the quarry like I do? How can I help?" Hinder, hamper, work as slow as you can," Hilgors answered her. "If at all able, try to steal anything that can be used as a weapon. Tools, sharp rock shards, anything. They may all be needed someday." "Don't listen to them. You'll only land us all in trouble." Barkjon stood up and gazed over the slaves. "Is that you, Drup?" A surly-looking bankvole, who was trying to hide behind the others, lifted his head. "Yes, it's me." Tulgru grabbed him and stood him upright. "Then don't hide in the back muttering. Stand up and speak up face to face with others instead of slinking about." "Go on, Drup, have your say." Hilgors nodded back towards the bankvole. It was clear whose side the bankvole was on when he spoke. "We're slaves, and it's better to be alive than killed trying to do foolish things. Barkjon and his horde are too strong for us. If you start stealing fish and crops and tools, we'll all be punished. I don't want to be suffering for the foolishness of others. Count me out of your plans." Purslane threw a piece of firewood at Drup. "Shut your snivelling little trap. I've seen you hanging around the guards and carrying tales. You're a sneak, Drup. A toady." Angry murmurs arose from the crowd. Barkjon held up a paw for order. When there was quiet, he confronted the bankful. "Unfortunately, we cannot count you out of our plans, Drup. You are one of us, therefore all we do affects you, and anything you choose to do must affect us. Together we can be a stream, coursing its way powerful and silent. Even a small stream can wear away large rocks, but separate us and we become as single droplets of water, ready to be scattered by the flick of a paw. You are either on our side or you are with Barkjon and his horde." Drup lowered his eyes, avoiding Barkjon's gaze. "I am alone. I side with no beast. Leave me to live my own life as I see fit." Barkjon silenced the angry murmurings of the slaves with a growl. "So be it, Drup. No creature is forced to join us. You may stay alone, but let me warn you, Bankful, if one word of our business reaches Barkjon and his creatures, I will hold you responsible. When that happens, you will be a dead beast. I promise this." Drup slunk out of the crowd to a deserted corner of the compound. The silence that followed was eventually broken by Keela. If that's if that's all for tonight, I'll be on my way. Feeding time for the prisoners, you know." Rose and Grum lay behind the rocks, watching Fortress Marshank, helpless and unable to approach the gates because of the 2 sentries who stood on the wall top, keeping a lookout for the return of Trom and Clog. The mouse maid shook her head despairingly. "Oh, with those 2 up there, we won't be able to communicate with our friend. What can we do, Grum?"
"I says we sit and tight and wait. You friend be a clever beast. He'll think of something, miss. You'll see, hurrah."
Inside the fortress, Keela was racking his young brains for an idea. He poked Scraps through the grating as he whispered to the prisoners below.
"The guard in the wall tops, mates. It's going to be difficult getting instructions to our friends out there. Any ideas?"
"Hey down there, what's all that whispering about? Are you talking to us prisoners? If y'all, lay me spear handle across your back."
Keela spread his paws appealingly.
"Not me, sir. I haven't said a word. It's these poor wretches in this pit. They're calling to me. They say they've got the fever, and they want to be let out."
Frogbit and Niprat, the 2 rats who were on guard, looked at each other, taken aback by the news.
"Fever? I knew it, mate. Gerd was shivering like a leaf last night. He sat by the fire drinking wine, and this morning he said he was staying in his bunk because of the pains in his head." "Nah, that's just through guzzling too much wine. There ain't no fever in this fortress, mate."
"No? Well, what about old Fleabane? He got a great yellow mark on his ear. He was bleeding this afternoon."
"Oh, that's 'cause the fool's been scratching at it to make it go away. Nah, there ain't no fever hereabouts, take my word."
"That's exactly what I said, sir,"
Keela called up to them.
"But these 3 down here are convinced they've got fever or plague or something horrible. Come down and take a look at them, sir."
"What do we want looking at moldy prisoners?" Nipwort scoffed. "Our job is up here looking out for things."
"Listen," Keela whispered down to his friends. "They can't stop sick creatures shouting out feverishly. If Rose is outside, she'll hear you." Below, in the pit, Martin grasped his friend's paws.
"Who has the loudest voice, mates?"
Brome swelled his little chest out.
"Try me. Listen to this."
Cupping his paws, Brome yelled aloud in a piercing howl.
"Oh, some beast, any beast, can you hear me? Help us, the fever's down here."
Both Martin and Feldo had to cover their ears. The youngster had lungs like bellows and a howl like an injured wolf.
Help, we're dying of fever. What's the matter, can't you hear me?"
Nipwort clenched his paws and ground his teeth together.
"Of course we can hear you. Stop that yelling or I'll come down there and kick your tail till it's blue."
"Oh, yes, sir," Brome howled back louder than ever.
"Please, sir, kick us, beat us, but come down and see us. We're dying slowly of fever. The place is a plague hole. Come down and see for yourself."
Frogbit shuddered.
"Oh, fat chance I ain't going down there catching sickness."
Nipwort was in complete agreement.
"Nor me, mate. They can yell and holler all they want. I'm not putting a paw anywhere near 'em."
Through her tears, Rose sat back, giggling helplessly. That's my brother, all right. Remember, he used to scream and shout like that back home until Mama let him have his own way.
I remembers, miss. I used to plug my old ears up with grass. If yon child has fever with a voice like that, I'd be a tadpole.
Rose held her throat, and throwing back her head, she gave the eagle call. Grum winced and covered both ears.
My, what a family for noising in. Maister Brome will know for sure us can hear him now, miss.
The eagle screech rent the night air again. Brome clapped his hands joyfully. That's my sister Rose, all right. She can screech as good as any eagle. Martin patted Brome heartily on the back. Great work, young'un. Rose can hear us. Right, get ready to send her the message. From the wall top, Nipward shook his spirit Keela. You started all this, Arthur. Listen, they've even upset that eagle bird now. Get away from there, go on. Get back to the compound. You've caused enough mischief around here. Keela knew his job was done. Martin and his friends could send their own messages to the outside. The young otter trotted off grinning happily as the two guards argued away on the wall. I'm not putting up with this row all night. Oh no, then go down there and shut them up. Me? I'm staying right here, mate. And so am I, mate. We'll just have to ignore the noise and keep watch for sea scarab. Ignore the noise? Are you joking? Listen to that. Rosie, Rosie, Grum, Grum. Listen to me. The eagle screech sounded again. Rose and Grum were listening. Nipwort and Frogbit plugged their ears with the screwed-up corners of their ragged cloaks and concentrated on watching the sea. Brome sent the message in fine howling style. In the middle of the gate, set your faces. Oh, I'm dying of fever. I walked to the south about 20 paces. It's a terrible thing, this fever. The three of us in this awful pit. The fever. As deep as 3 mice in a bit. I'm gonna die of fever. We need the claws of a good old chum. The fever. I don't know. I know that you could do it, Grum. Don't let me die of fever. There was a moment's silence. Then the call of the eagle screeched out 3 times. Rose had received the message. A quiet peace fell over the star-traced seas, the shingled beach and the weary sentries on the wall top. The only sound was small waves gently lapping the land as the tide ebbed. Frogbit unplugged his ears. Nipwort followed his mate's example. Quah, ain't it lovely and quiet? Aye, and I think the eagle bird frightened him into silence. Silence? What a lovely word. It'd sound better if you shut your gob and gave it a chance. Rose had written it all down on a smooth rock with a piece of sea coal. She read the instructions carefully to Grum. Face the center of the gates. Walk 20 paces to the south. Brome says there's 3 of them in the pit. That is as deep as 3 and a bit mice. So if we, or should I say you, dig down twice my height and then straight tunnel from the 20 pace mark, sooner or later you'll break into the pit at about head height. Can you do it, Grum? The mole winked as he flexed his huge digging claws.
Can I do it, miss? Can birds fly in the sky? Can fishers swim in the seas? 'Twill be easier than eating your mama's little apple puddings.
If you rescue Brome, I'll see to it that my mama bakes you more apple puddings than you could shake a stick at when we get back to Noonvale. The mouse maid hurled herself at Grum and stroked his velvety back fur the wrong way.
Or, missy, don't you do that. It tickles. Or...
And that was Chapter 5 of Martin the Warrior. Next time, we'll be picking up on Chapter 6. But for now, I'm going to close the book And we'll call that another chapter done. Thank you very much for watching or listening, as always. I really do appreciate it. And I look very forward to having you here back with us for the next chapter of our soft-spoken reading of Martin the Warrior, A Tale of Redwall by